Welcome to Season Crazy. We are your hosts.
I'm Brandi.
And I'm Summer. We have left sanity behind a long time ago.
And we're never getting it back.
So whether you are towing the line or camping in left field, we are here for you all the time. And we love it. We will help you pitch that tent.
Woo!
Okay, it is Friday. Friday. Woo-hoo. You know what that means? It means that we are over here on VTT for your listening or viewing pleasure. I want to say viewing pleasure, but then that sounds really weird because
like one of those machines. You put the quarter in and you see a movie.
You keep scrolling. It's the woman showing her ankle in that little thing.
Oh my.
Anyway, it's VTT. It's Friday. We are here for you. So thank you for checking us out. And I'm going to throw some shade. We have beat Sergeant G on the Stone Vet for 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, okay. So, did not know that.
Yes. So that means you guys have to help us keep this going. Yes. Because I think he's aiming for a knockout this week.
Are we in a battle now?
We are in a battle, and I know he's capable of it. So we are depending on you to help us keep going.
Yes, please.
What does that mean? That means you have to check us out.
Yes, on Facebook at at Season Crazy, or at She's Season Crazy. I'll get that right.
We got it one day.
Yeah, and on VTT
on Fridays.
Yeah, on those days.
Yeah, and on VRS on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
at 8 p.m. I feel like I need to say Central Time. I forget not everybody is in my world over here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
8 p.m. Central Time. VRS as well. VTT. They put us out all day for your pleasure.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's no excuse for you not to watch us on Fridays or Wednesdays on our YouTube channel, Season Crazy. I'm going to give a huge shout out at the beginning of the show to our sponsors, Rafa 180. Check them out, rafa180.com, RAPHA180.com. Check out with Season Crazy and get 15% off your total purchase, as well as free shipping for anything over $85. That's a big deal. It comes really quick. It comes priority. There's everything on there from anxiety relief to vitamins for thyroid issues, minerals, of which I take. I love their liquid minerals, things for sleeping, living, waking, doing, being. Anyway, go check them out. Check out with Season Crazy. So we've got a good one for you today.
Yeah.
I think we've got a good one for you today. It is February, if you didn't know. And I think we're going to put the spotlight on Brandi for a minute.
Oh, because I hate February. Go on.
She does. Yes. And I think this is important. We're going to invite you guys into our world for a minute. We had a serious episode on Wednesday, and I want to continue that. To let you guys in, we can't expect for you to become our friends and tune in and join us and have this fellowship and this friendship with us without also taking time to have some serious episodes. So yes, I want to have some fun stuff for you today as well, but let's pause. February is very hard for Miss Brandi over here. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Brandi, why is the month of love, which actually started with the Great Slaughter,
yeah,
so hard for you?
It has actually nothing to do with Valentine's Day for me anyway, because Valentine's Day, I could take it or leave it. I can love you throughout the year. Who cares? And also it started with the slaughter.
I like that.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. You better show me love all year long.
Right.
One day a year. Keep that crap.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. So, well, first of all, happy birthday to my grandma in heaven. It's her birthday today, which is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of February, because yes, I love her and I love her birthday, but it's just harder on birthdays of those that you love.
Yes.
She was pretty freaking awesome lady. I mean, if you want to talk about like strong women, she is one of them. So I feel like I come from a lot of strong women. Also, it's my father's birthday, who was on his birthday was on Sunday the 20th. It depends on the year, because every year is different with grief, as I'm sure a lot of you know.
Away.
Yeah. Yeah, every year since my dad passed away, I can either be fine and be like, woohoo, I'm celebrating, or suddenly I'm just like, all day. And this year it was, I'm just not digging it. Like, I am missing you because what one of the stages of grief, and it's not because they learned, I was reading that, I mean, yeah, there are five, not that there are just five stages of grief, because those are not necessarily incorrect, but grief is a lot more complicated than
Yes.
five stages.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that was mentioned, like when surveying people, is yearning. And I really did not know about that. As a young child, yeah, I miss my grandma throughout the years, because my other grandma, Lily Mae, who also passed away in February. That's another reason why I am not a fan of February, because some of my favorite people, like my grandmas, passed away in February. I just started thinking about like my grandma. Sorry.
I know it's really hard, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay.
Yeah, but as a kid when she died, just like boo popped in my head. As a kid when she died, I didn't understand grief. I just knew that it made me really sad that I missed her all the time and I had cried a lot. But like when I lost my parents, I learned about yearning, which I don't know. I hadn't heard people talking about that, because when someone first dies, you feel that immediate, like, oh, like your world is like, oh, and then like you eventually kind of get your bearing, like, okay, you accept it, and then you get past the point of acceptance. See, I was just, five stages of grief, blah 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 blah, acceptance.
Can we pause there and talk about the 5 stages of grief? Something that I don't think that they talk about is that you can make it through the 5 stages and go back to stage 1, and then stage 4, and then stage 3, and then stage 5.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah,
stage 2, and stage 1, and stage 5.
Yeah, you skip around. That's another thing. Yeah, I didn't even realize you skip around. You might accept it, then you don't accept it. You might forgive yourself for whatever guilt you're feeling, and then you feel guilty all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the yearning, I feel is like, I mean, you skip around with that too, but like after the whole acceptance thing, because like I thought that was it, you accept it.
Right.
Well, then you get to a point where you miss them even more. You know how you yearn for something, like you yearn for when someone's away and you miss them, you like yearn for them. Or maybe you are yearning for food, whatever. It just gets stronger and stronger.
Especially if you can't have it back.
Right. So it's just this intense yearning feeling, like I just want my mom, I just want my grandma, I just want my dad, I just want whatever family member, especially your parents, especially after you lose two parents, then you're an adult orphan.
Which is a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that people think if you're an adult and you lose both parents that, well, you're an adult. But the thing is you're still going through life, and you're still going through the things that you're going through with raising children and having Stella,
Right.
and changing careers and doing these things that even as an adult you probably want to share with your parents.
Right. Everyone wants their parents. Oh, and yeah, I was just thinking of TV shows like after my parents passed away and they had these moments that I'm never going to get. And I'd be mad. Or when I see people like, okay, don't get me wrong. I know people have legit reasons to disown their parents or be mad at their parents or whatever. That's real.
For sure.
So I'm not dismissing that at all. But I would listen to people gripe about some dumb crap about why they were mad at their parents and why they're not speaking to them or they're whatever. I would just, I mean, I didn't say anything, but like silent rage here, like, oh, well, aren't you just so lucky you get to gripe about how your parent is just getting on your ever-loving nerves? I wish my parent could get on my nerves. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like in those moments when they're griping, if your parents were here, you would be softer with them? Like, oh, yeah, I understand. But because you're on the other side of knowing what it's like to not have them here.
Right.
Do you feel like you're not so much judging them, but a little bit angry with them that they get the blessing of having their parents?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because I know everyone has had their moments like,
Mm-hmm.
why? Or whatever, you know,
Right.
like if you're
Right.
irritated at a parent, or I mean, everyone, you cannot
Yeah.
be excited about someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Exactly.
all your life. It should, no,
Right.
it's not possible. So before I would have probably been a lot like, oh yeah, I get it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, yeah, I wish.
Right.
I just, you know, which I have actually out loud said like
Right. Yeah.
when I just was like, you know what? I mean, I said it kind of nicely, but I said it because I was annoyed. Like, you are lucky to have
Right.
your parent
But maybe they
to
need to hear
gripe
that.
about. Yeah. Like,
Do you feel like having your parents both gone at this time in your life makes you assess the kind of mom you are and apply yourself and almost give you more pressure to be a parent that you want as an adult that doesn't have a mom? Do you feel like that gives you some kind of pressure?
um, well, I mean, I think I always feel pressure to be a better parent,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, than my parents, or just to live up to some of the things that they did. Because I mean, everyone has their faults, but there's lots of things that they do way better, you know, or that I feel they were better at. And I'm like, oh, I want to, you know, because I look up to my parents. They had. So, you know, they were workaholics. They were, you know, smart people, loving people. So I'm like, okay, I want to be, you know, as kind-hearted as my dad, and I want to um, be like a lifelong student like my mom, or what she did with, she was a businesswoman, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
she started
Mm-hmm.
uh, a sober living. I'm sorry, I was trying to say, I knew halfway house was in it, but she started
Yeah.
a sober living for single moms, single women,
Mm-hmm.
so that they could get on there, because that was her passion. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
after
Her
she sobered
purpose.
up,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, she wanted to do the same thing for people. So uh, they are very, I mean, they have a lot of qualities that I'm like, I want to live up to that to my children. Like, I want
Mm-hmm.
to show that quality to my children.
And your
So
mom
yeah.
was amazing because I did get to know your grandma and I did get to know your dad, but being that you lived with your mom, obviously I knew her more. And I remember your mom picking me up and we would go to AA meetings together and either my dad would come or he wouldn't. And I remember one AA meeting, your mom picked me up and my dad was supposed to go with us and he ditched us. And your mom said, I will still go with you if you want.
Oh, I had no idea about that.
Yeah,
Okay, don't make me cry.
it's okay. But these are amazing times
Yeah.
because she took me and she sat with me and she sat with me through the whole AA meeting and she told me not to give up on my dad. And that's the type of woman she was. And I remember being at her funeral. And you know, when you go to somebody's funeral and you wonder, like, who's going to be there when I die?
Right.
Who's going to be there? What are they going to say? What is this going to be like? Okay. Your mom had so many people that stood up to talk to through her funeral that said, Cheryl helped me.
Yeah.
She did this for me. I went to this sobriety, like a sober living house, and she helped me with this.
Right.
And it was just like everything in Cheryl's life after her addiction and after the mistakes that she made was used
Yeah.
to write that.
Right.
And then as far as her dad, nobody could stand in the church.
Oh yeah.
So these were
When you want to
loved
talk
people.
about loved,
Yeah.
like I took a picture at my dad's
Mm-hmm.
funeral of the people outside of the church,
Yeah.
because it boggled my mind. Like, I knew my dad was loved, because I mean, every time when I was a kid, every time we'd go to the grocery store, because we was right, because he lives in you know, he lived in a small town of Luther, and then eventually Wellston. And so he, every time he would go to the grocery store so that we could go fishing, because we were on our way fishing when we were going to that grocery store
To get some worms.
yeah, and people, you know, to get worms and sandwich stuff. And so he would go in just to get that stuff, and then I'd be bored as a kid, like, oh my gosh, it's taking forever. And then I would see him, like he was like at the checkout line, or right after the checkout line, like right, about to go outside, and someone stopped him. Hey, Carl, what are you using for bait? What do you recommend?
Yeah.
You know, and just to shoot the breeze, because my dad, oh my gosh, super kind-hearted, strong
If he
dude,
didn't like you, there was
bull-headed
a
dude.
problem with you.
Right? If my dad didn't like
He
you,
likes everybody.
yeah. In fact, I can't even think of a person.
I can.
Well, I found this out later, but
But one. We
Yeah.
have one person.
yeah, I mean, I've heard, one of his ex-girlfriends, I don't remember her name, so it's none of you guys that I love and still talk to, but she was an addict, and she wasn't sober, and she was just saying, and my dad was doing things that were way out of his character, and he was just not treating him well, and that was the only, I was like, and even then he was like, she's good people, she just has problems, you know what I mean? Like, no, oh, it's okay, I mean, thankfully, like, they're not together, no offense to whoever you are, because I don't know why I can't remember your name suddenly, but
That's
either
because
way.
it wasn't important.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to remember.
Yeah.
At first time I met your dad, because I have a thing with eyes, and I feel like eyes, I know it's a cliche, but eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah.
And you have his eyes. And you do. And he has the sweetest smile and the kindest eyes.
Yeah.
And he had those eyes that made you feel like you could tell him anything, which is probably why everybody in the world talked to the dude. But that you could tell him anything.
Right.
And so for me, throughout all the years that I knew you before he passed away and all the times I got to see him, it was not a surprise to see all those people outside of the church.
Yeah.
But in a way it was, because it was like, yeah, no, I get this. I get why there are this many people here.
Yeah.
But there were this many people here.
Right? I was like, wow, what a life that you have lived to have people standing outside of the church for your funeral.
And even your mom, having people stand up for you. I felt like
too.
For me, that was more for you guys as kids, Cole and you, than it was for your mom or anyone else. Because what a legacy you guys got.
Yeah.
To sit there and hear. I know that your mom had struggled with addiction, but this legacy that she turned around and helped so many people, and you got to see that and hear that, and that church was full.
Yeah,
it was full. It was amazing to see. And I remember that you said, as a young child, she was trying to be that mom that you needed afterwards, and I just. There was a time, it wasn't jealousy because I still wanted that for you, but I was envious I was envious as a kid. Like, I wished my dad or my mom would have put that effort in, but so thankful. Because I know it was hard. And she was a businesswoman.
Yeah.
She was a strong Black woman, okay? Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, lifelong student. Before, she was dying when she was still, she was still going for a PhD, and then I think it was like 6 months before she died, she stopped doing that because at some point you got to do other things with your life. If it's just too hard.
Did she know? I know, but did she know?
Yes, and yes, but I think we still held out hope that something would happen. But yes, she knew, and then her brain became too foggy. It was just too much for her to continue. But she was going for her PhD while she was pretty much bedbound, and I'm like, you are really a lifelong student.
She loved it.
Yeah, and because she had a passion for what she was doing.
Yeah.
And she was a CPA. At one point, I don't. Me and math, we don't get along. So I'm like, why? My mother loves math and I hate it.
Well, when I was in foster care, I was actually in the last place I was at. I was in a home with my Aunt Sheila and my uncle at the time. And the day that I had asked to get married, on the way to court, I was informed that I was going to have to get out of my house. And so I had no notice. And I didn't know where I was going to go. And I think your mom was out of town. You guys were out of town. And before cell phones, guys. And
Right.
so I literally was on the way to court and was told, if the judge says you can get married, because I was a foster kid and I was underage, you have to be out of my house today. And it is what it is. No hard feelings. I went back home with nowhere to go. My husband to be was in Okinawa, Japan.
Mhm.
I don't remember where you guys were at, but I remember talking to you on the phone and you saying, my mom said we're going to leave the door open for you. And I slept on their couch. So, that just goes to speak of your mom. She had a heart to take in people, and she had a heart um to be there for those that were in need.
Yeah.
And your dad did too. And you got both sides so much so that I think we want to smack each other because we both are doormats. And we're like,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
she's saying it to me because I feel like you got every good quality from your dad and every good quality from your mom.
Yeah, but I did not get her because she's more vicious. She's more vicious than my mom could be like,
Mad black
no.
woman. I'm just telling you.
Not me. I'm
Yeah.
like, hello, so yeah, I wish I had more of that. And actually, my mom and dad, I love both, and maybe it's because they're both
I feel like some
determined.
gossip's about to come, so just listen.
Yeah, determined workaholics, like, and
Mm.
they were, I mean, I think maybe their spirits had something in common, but they were like
different.
night and day.
Your
Night
mom
and
like
day.
that's glamorous, and your dad was always in his overalls.
Yes, yeah,
Which
yeah.
I love.
Yeah, with his
Okay.
ponytail and his hat and his overalls.
Sparkling blue eyes.
Yeah.
How tall was he? Because I'm short, but I felt like he was really tall.
And he was taller than
He
me.
was taller than
I think it was like 5'10", 5'11". I'm
He
not
felt
100% sure on that one. Yeah, but he was taller than me. I could like,
Yeah. And
hug
he was a
him.
teddy bear.
Yeah, and he was and then my mom, she dressed in business, not
Yeah.
casual, but business,
Mhm.
in the suits and all of that. And she was city, he was country. He
Yes.
was a procrastinator. She could not stand that.
Yes.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like because my dad was hard, and they were both. I feel like that's where they're like they were both hardcore workers. They were
Yeah.
very kind people. Maybe the opposite attract. I don't know.
They helped each other out in those fields.
Right. Yeah. So like my dad wasn't lazy. It was just he was a procrastinator, and it was probably because he loves naps, fishing, family, and working very, very, very hard. So you can only have so much energy for stuff. You know what
But
I mean?
I'm laughing because what do you always call yourself?
Oh,
A
a lazy perfectionist.
Yes, so that's like both your dad and your mom that were in you, the lazy perfectionist, because you want to be perfect, but you need to forget.
Yes. Like I'm like, I really can't stand that mess. I might look at it and be like, I want to clean you up. But if I'm like tired or
It's Cheryl and Carl
overwhelmed,
fighting in her head
yeah.
about what needs to do.
I'm like, I'm gonna ignore this for now. And every time I look at it, it's gonna make me mad, but I'm not touching it right now. I'm gonna procrastinate about that. So when Cheryl and Carl, when mom and dad are fighting in my head, yeah,
Don't do it. Take a nap. Do
right,
it.
yeah,
Don't wait.
yeah. Plus, I have my grandma. My grandma,
Mhm.
she was a sweet German lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she was very tidy and
And sweet.
yeah, and sweet and oh my gosh, cause she haggle. Okay, cause I guess it's more
That's a foreign thing.
yeah. I'm like, cause to me, my grandma, it's my grandma. You know what I mean? And then we go to like the swap meet, and she was like, no, this one on, I'll give you this or whatever.
That's
This
a
amount of
foreign
money.
thing. I
Yeah.
swear.
And I'm
I
like,
swear.
you
It's
don't
a
just.
foreign
I'm
thing.
like, here's the price, whatever. She's like, no, I'll
That's an
take
American
this.
thing. We pay dollar.
Yeah.
You get people from Mexico, like my husband's family, or anybody that like would come to our garage sales that would be from Mexico,
Right.
or like Germans, or like our friends that are from the Middle East. You never pay full price.
Right.
They will talk you down. I think
Mhm.
that's just a cultural thing, right?
Right? Yeah. And things around. Oh.
Your grandma was really sweet, but I felt like she was also probably a very tough lady.
Yeah. Oh, she was a very strong
Yeah.
and tough lady, and she had a green thumb like nobody's business. I'm trying
Oh yeah,
to
garden
learn.
parties.
Yes. Yeah. All my
Yeah.
aunts, they're such wonderful children. They were so good to my grandma. Oh man, if you want to talk about being like a good child.
Yeah.
I mean, woo. But yeah, they had put together garden parties. So when my grandma could no longer do the garden herself, then the family would come over and tidy it up, and they made a party of it, and they organized it, which is such a sweet thing to do. Yeah, because my grandma was very much into gardening and birds, and she made us rouladen when I was growing up. And oh my gosh, it's so delicious. And
Well,
gotta
and then
make it one day.
she is a German woman, which is I mean, she looked white.
Yeah.
And she was married to a black man. And I remember you telling me a story. I have to tell this story before we go. But I remember you telling me a story that when your mom was a baby, they were trying to go to a hotel, and the hotel did not allow black people to stay.
Yeah.
Especially an interracial couple. And so they slept in their car. And that just makes me think of this woman came from Germany to another country to be told she couldn't stay in a hotel because her husband was black and she had a mixed baby. And she slept in this car with this man. That's grit.
Yeah, my grandpa told me that story, and so you must remember it better than I do, because I couldn't remember what happened after they were told no.
So they slept in their car.
Yeah,
That's
which is
grit.
crazy.
That's grit.
Yeah.
That is a woman that has her heels in for her family and this baby and her husband.
Oh, and they got pulled over.
That's grit.
Because and I don't remember where
she
they
was
were.
White and he was black?
Yeah, because a black man was driving a really nice vehicle that he owned, with a white lady, and they
clearly white.
So,
she was German, guys.
That just boggles my mind that the earth is like that. Yeah, and I guess because I did grow up with different races of people in my family, that to me, I grew up like color is not something you judge someone by.
You see it.
Yeah,
you acknowledge it. You celebrate it.
Right. Yeah, you can accept cultural differences or be excited. Like, I love cultures, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can be excited about cultural differences and celebrate the color of your skin, and be proud of the color of your skin. And you don't have to hate other people like that.
But you got that from your mom and your dad. Like your dad was this white dude, blue-eyed white guy, and your mom clearly looked black. I mean, now she had hair that would probably indicate she was mixed, lighter skin, but you had this culture and this ethnicity around you, and you were able to celebrate it and see it, and then you got these personalities from both of them, and you got to celebrate them. And obviously your grandma's in you too, because the determination that you have to stick through it when most people would give up has to come from somewhere. So I am just going to say it's Gisela.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very, well, I mean, I knew my grandma's name was Gisela, but I'm normally like, grandma, and she's like, Gisela, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. Happy birthday, grandma / Gisela. Yeah, she was a very strong lady. She raised 3 girls who became very strong women.
3 mixed girls in the 60s. Okay, I'm not trying to bring race in this all the time. I'm just saying, let's think about this as a white woman, and then eventually as a single woman, raising mixed children.
Yeah.
In the time where we hardly saw a black man and a white woman together. I mean, I grew up in the hood. I saw everybody.
Yeah, but my mom was born in 1963.
Yeah. There had to be grit from both of these women. And then from your dad to celebrate her and to just go through this. There's so much in your family tree. I feel like when you doubt who you are, you just should remember your dad and your mom and your grandma and who you came from.
Yeah, it's actually helped me. Okay, well, I mean, it's also put pressure on me, because I'm like, I think
that's not the way they would have done it.
Yeah. Well, I have all these wonderful people in my family, and on my dad's side of the family. I have many wonderful people on my dad's side of the family. Can't forget them. Lily
But today
May.
It's not about them.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, Lily May. But other than that, it's not about them.
Yeah. But I came from a lot of cool people, and I don't want to be the uncool family member. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
That's all we're saying. And that's all we have for you guys, because we have to jump off, but we are so excited we got to open up and have a little bit more of an emotional Friday with you guys. We are really thankful for all of the downloads. Please head over to VTT and check out our episode. And when you're not checking out VTT, please head over to our YouTube channel. We need 100 subscribers. Actually, we need you, all of you, to subscribe, ring the bell, do the things, all of it.
Yes.
And hang out with us. Enjoy your time. Share us with your friends because, you know, we're like chocolate pie. We're good. Okay.
Yeah, delicious.
Or
and
whatever
smooth.
pie you like. Yes, creamy, rich, all the things. And if you are dairy free, we are made with almond milk.
Right?
Okay?
Almond milk,
So,
okay.
I'm dairy free if you don't know that now. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check us out on Wednesdays on Season Crazy, on Fridays at VTT, and on Tuesdays at VRS at 8 p.m. Central Time. And during the week, whenever you need your fix of Season Crazy, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, because we're going to get that down. All Season Crazy. Just
look for us.
look for us.
Season Crazy. You're either going to find a seizure, you're going to find us.
Just look for us. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.